Hey, welcome to Spiritual Rhythms for the Enneagram. I'm Claire Lowridge, and I am my co-authors, Scott Lowridge and Adele and Doug Calhoun, are going to be offering some spiritual practices to help you with your rhythm. And I don't mean music, although we love that too. But what we realize is every Enneagram style has very particular ways of showing up in the world. And if we have rhythm, we'll be able to bring the best of our inherent greatness along with letting go of the things that we cling to in our false self patterns. So what we're up to today is type 8, or as we prefer, style 8. And we call this person the strong person. Some call this person the contrarian. Others call this person the challenger. And I think all of those fit. But what I'd like to offer tonight is maybe the decider. When eights are deciding and they are attached and clinging to their decision, they'll have a hard time trusting and becoming vulnerable because all of a sudden they feel like, I already know what's wrong, right, just, unjust, so I'm not even going to listen any further, and I certainly won't trust. You can guarantee I'm not going to risk being vulnerable. Well, having worked with so many eights in my life as a pastor and a spiritual director, and those that I've taught in our training for certification, is that eights who are stuck in non-trusting forfeit the grace that could be theirs. So what do I mean by that? One of my really good friends is an 8, and she has been known to be called a smoke alarm. She picks up when somebody is not safe, someone is manipulating, someone is trying to exploit another individual. She's got this fabulous, what we call, smoke alarm. And so she'll say, you know what, this is not okay. And I just want you to write that down because when it goes bad, I want you to know that, I warned you. And I have to tell you that 8 out of 10 times, it's absolutely correct. But because this person is human and not God, there are times when it's not right. And so how do healthy 8s practice their spirituality so that they can trust even when their internal smoke alarm is going, Well, there's this beautiful practice to just begin to welcome the emotions of their own soul, the emotions of another, the response of another who might say, I'm not feeling that, and that they could take a risk and trust that it's possible that decider in them could be incorrect, and that they might trust the instincts or the feelings or the wisdom of another style. And so healthy 8s, when they are practicing their spirituality well, they'll let go of what they're clinging to as the decision they've already made, what their strength knows is right, what their gut is saying, I've already decided, and the verdict is in. But healthy 8s have a way of centering and getting in touch with all that is them, including their heart and their head. So a practice for them might look like this. I want to trust. And so what could I let go of here so that I might bring online things that aren't right here, right now? So maybe they could take a breath, come inside, feel where they're holding this decision in their body, and see if they can let go of that a little bit. whether it's the clenching in their gut or the powering up of moving in or wanting to fight. And just notice if there's any tenderness here in the heart space where they can be present to themselves and show a little compassion. And check up in this brilliant intellect that they have and say, okay, is there some information I might also want to bring into this situation? And bringing all three centers online here might help to trust someone else's emotions. And you might be able to then say, well, tell me what you're experiencing here. Is there something that your heart wants to say? Is there an instinct that you have? A gut instinct? Or do you have some information I might not have? And allowing for that kind of space can bring all three centers of intelligence online for you: your intellect, your emotional intelligence, and that really great deciding ability that you have. I have a sister-in-law who is an 8, and she and I kid around about how when we were teenagers, we actually wrestled. We wrestled over a cigarette, no joke. And we talk about how both of us had such forceful energy that many times we had responses and powering up and this need to fight it out in order to actually get what we wanted. But as we have developed in our friendship, she's an 8 and I'm a 3, the two of us have learned to respect that energy and say, okay, you might have something here that I need, and I might have something here that you need. And sometimes 8s feel like they can't trust anybody until they actually did have some time to fight it out. So when you're in a relationship with an 8, realize that they can't trust you immediately, and sometimes there needs to be a little bit of a wrestle together. Maybe not physically as we did as teenagers, but wrestling and saying, okay, I'm going to show up with my energy. We're going to wrestle it down to the mat until the two of us can receive the gift of the other. And when you're in a relationship with an 8, don't expect them to trust you immediately. And yet, if you are on your own journey of practicing rhythm, you might be able to invite them to trust. So for our 8s, we just want to say that we love your energy. And the reason we love the word spiritual rhythms is because we don't want you to lose the deciding energy that you have, the power that you have, the strength that you have. This world needs it. And we don't want you to try to push that away as you're welcoming all three centers of intelligence. We want that power to stay here in the world for good. And we also want to do that wonderful rhythmic dance with you where you're learning to trust and welcome all that is you. Beginning to trust other people, even when your alarm is going, eh, eh, eh. So just notice, and notice without judgment. How often are you willing to let go of the alarm and ask some questions, either by yourself or with another trusted person? And take the time to live in the rhythm of both taking a risk and trusting and your wonderful ability to decide. Glad you joined us tonight, and we look forward to bringing in the 9 in the next episode. Peace.